Hello my duckies, welcome back to the Boston Nation that best you love or you hate. How's it going everybody? Today we got ourselves another deck profile for you. Today is my famous CyberAngels. Yes, the deadly CyberAngels that just can't... Well, they get wins, but it's just part of the lockout slow down game, and it's pretty fun to do. Annoys the hell out of your opponent. That's what my decks are known to do. And you could tell by those little sexy sleeves. If you remember one of my openings of the boxes, I got these sleeves from my Tokyo connection, if you will. Anywho, let's begin. Start off with the big boy himself. I run 3 Herald the Protector. Now, he is the all-star of the deck. Your job when you play this deck is to get him out, turn 1. Just, it's so good. Let me tell you what this guy can do. First of all, during either player's turn, and doesn't say once per turn, when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, discard a fairy from my hand, negate, and then destroy. That's it. That's why it's so annoying. As long as I have fairies on my hand, I'm gonna negate all your stuff. That's why people hate him. And look at him so you get a closer look. His whole job is to have him turn 1 and just literally humiliate your opponent. That's just what his job is to do. Next, we head to the CyberAngels. I run 2 CyberAngel Dykey. That sexy woman, look at her. Now, she's a very useful card as well. When she is ritual summoned, as soon as she touches field, her effect activates. You may tell your opponent to send 1 monster they control to the graveyard. That's it. Now, that's the trick. You're not using an effect. You're telling your opponent to choose one of their monsters and send it to the graveyard. So it's not an effect. Your opponent is forced to send it to the graveyard. That's just one of her abilities. Second effect is, during the end phase of the turn, I can add a CyberAngel Machine, no, how's it go? Machine Angel Ritual from my graveyard once during the end phase. It's quickie, you know how it is. And she's so smexy, look at her. Get you a close up of her. Sexy. Now we're heading to the other and most important one of the deck. I run 3 CyberAngel Ben10. Ben10, Ben10. I feel like they copied that from the show. Anywho, her purpose in the deck is to be tributed. Because her effect is if she's tributed, I can add any single fairy from my deck to my hand. Very useful. Her other effect I really don't use is when she comes out in the field. If she destroys a monster by battle, select the defense or attack, whichever one's higher, and inflict half damage to my opponent. Your job is not to bring her out. Her job is to be discarded for a tribute summon for any other CyberAngel. That's why I run her. Next, the other one, I run 2 CyberAngel Peeta. Eeta, whatever the hell. Now, she has 2 pretty good effects I used once in a blue. First one is, when she's ritual summoned, I get to add 1 ritual card from my deck to my hand. That's that. Other effect is why I run her, is when she's tributed, all ritual monsters on my field gain 1,000 permanently. That's it. Very useful. Because, you know, all CyberAngels aren't the strongest and whatnot. But look at her knockers. Look at that rack. Now for the other CyberAngel, I recently added in here. I run 1 CyberAngel Natasha. That tells you she's a black woman. I love me black women. Anywho, she's a really interesting card, even though she's quite weak. Oh my god, the noises of outside is cringing me. She can only be brought out with the Machine Angel Ritual. Once per turn, I can target 1 face-up monster I control and gain light points to half its attack. That's once per turn. Also, when a ritual monster is targeted for an attack, I can negate the attack. Doesn't say how many times, it just negate, negate, negate. Now, the best part about her is, while she's in the graveyard, I can banish 1 CyberAngel in my graveyard, and then target 1 monster my opponent controls, special summons CyberAngel Natasha, and then take control of my opponent's monster. Permanently. It's mine, not yours. I win, you lose. Look at her. She's so smexy, and she's a centaur, if I'm not mistaken. It's pretty weird, but whatever. And last but not least is the big mama of the group. I run one CyberAngel Ventress. She's useful in her own way. Helps me get rid of stuff. Her deal is when she's ritual summoned, comes out on the field. For as many extra deck monsters on the field, they're instantly destroyed. Then, that's how many times she can attack this turn. She also does 1,000 point of damage to each one of the extra deck monsters that was sent to the graveyard. And she can attack a second time this turn. There's a little benefit here and there. Also, if a monster effect is activated that will destroy a card, I can then use her effect to send one of the ritual monsters in my graveyard back to the deck to negate and destroy it. She's okay. She tells me if I'm facing like fusions, zodiacs, and all those, etc. extra deck creatures that are taking over this whole century. Now let's head into the other monsters. I run 2 Aqua Krysya. That card is such a beauty. If I get that turn 1, it's permanent lockout. So, here how it works. If I have at least exactly 4 fairies in my graveyard, I can then special summon this card. If this card is special summoned this way, I can then target 1 fairy in my graveyard and add it to my hand. Next, neither player can special summon monsters, and if this card leaves the field, I can then put it to the top of my deck. So it's a very useful card, adds a fairy to my hand, then locks out my opponent from special summoning. So I would obviously have the Herald or another CyberAngel on the field, and then come out with Krysya to lock out. So I have the Herald, no spells or traps, or monster effects, and then Krysya for the lockout. You see why people hate me. Now for the other little CyberAngel, I run 3 CyberAngel Peeta. He's so cute! His effect is whenever he's summoned, I can add a CyberAngel Ritual or CyberAngel Monster from my deck to my hand. I can only activate this effect once per turn, but you'll see why it becomes very beneficial, why that word is called summon. Next, to Majin. Enough said, we all know what he does. To Honest, Ya, wish it was at 3. And now for a new card, Artifact Vadra. Now, if y'all don't know what artifacts are, they can become spells and traps. During my turn, I can set them down and act like they're spells and trap. Now, on the turn that they are destroyed, usually on my opponent's turn, if this card is destroyed, I can special summon it to the field, and that's not all. When it's special summoned to the field by this effect, I can destroy all spells and trap cards my opponent controls. But that's not all, my friends. When my opponent declares a direct attack, I can then special summon this from my hand. So it's a protection and a field swiper. So damn good. Ugh, very good. Now we're heading to the spells. I run the most important card in this deck. 3 Ritual Sanctuary. This card you must have. Your deck will be bad if you do not have this card. Let's start with 2 effects that can activate both during your turn. It's so broken. First, you can discard any spell card in your hand to add a ritual or a ritual monster. A ritual spell or a ritual monster from your deck to your hand. That's the first effect. Second effect, you can add back as many spell cards in your graveyard that equal to the level of a fairy monster in your graveyard. Add the spells back to your deck and special summon 1 fairy. So you can do anything, literally. So that's why you run Petite Angel. Add 2 spell cards from your graveyard back to your deck, and then special summon it to get its effect again. It's literally broken. It's a combo loop that doesn't stop. It becomes very annoying. And of course, 3 Terraforming. Why the hell not? Now, the Machine Angel Ritual card. This card is broken. First, as unlike other ritual cards, its effect is kind of nasty. So if you read the text, it says, I can exceed the level of requirements for a ritual monster. Not only that, if this card is in my graveyard and a fairy monster would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, I could then banish this card and none of my cards are destroyed. So it's literally a Return of the Dragon Lords for fairies. Pretty good. Next we run 2 Dawn of the Herald. It's the ritual spell. Had to be exactly 6 to bring out Herald, but his second effect is better. When the card is tributed, I could then banish this card to return the tributed monster back to my hand. So you would go with Ben10, go to Ritual, use Effect of Dawn, banish it, bring back Ben10 so you can continue on with another Ritual summon. As another Ritual, Spirit Blessing, just another Fairy Ritual, just in case you never know what should happen to New-Gil. Next, pre-preparation of rites. Add a Ritual monster and a Ritual spell card that's listed on the Ritual spell card to your hand. We all know what he does. And the one pre-rites. Add a 7 or lower Ritual monster from your deck to your hand and add the Ritual spell card in your graveyard. Fortunately, it's limited, which I kind of get mad to this day about, but you know, can never be perfect. 1 Dark Hole, which will return to Raigeki very soon. 1 Book of Moon. 1 Solidarity. And now my personal favorite, White Veil. This card is broken, but has a very bad downside. So, here we go. When my monster declares an attack, my opponent's spell and trap cards, my opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. Second, while my opponent is in damage step, he cannot activate any face-up spell or trap cards, even if they leave the field. Then, after the damage step, if my monster is still there, I can destroy all spell and trap cards my opponent controls. But the downside of this card is, if this card leaves the field, I take 2,000 points of damage. That's the only downside. However, I have Herald, so I can then negate the effect, so I don't take the 3,000. Very good. So yeah, at first there was a side deck to here, but I got rid of it because this deck seems to be doing better than expected. It's pretty damn good. So yeah, that's the CyberAngels. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Remember, hit that like button down below if you enjoy more videos like this. And remember, if you're not a part of the Bastard Nation, hit that subscribe button. Because remember, we're all bastards in our own way. Deuces, dab, all that.